Gözdeciğim merhaba. Hi. Hi Sarah. Hi Özlem. Hi. And Elise is here. Hi Elise. Let's see if I can. Guess Bee's not here yet. How's it going, everybody? We all need to remember that it is Mercury retrograde, so there might be some technical things. There she is. Bee is here. So now I'm trying to connect with Bee. Thank you, Sarah, about my earrings. Hi, Bee.
Hi, Sanam.
How are you?
I'm great. Great to see you.
Great to see you too.
I feel like we're
How?
back in our program. It's so nice to connect with you guys, and especially this last program that we did. So I feel like
Yeah.
those emotions and then that energy again. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for accepting my invitation. And some of our participants are here. Elise is here. Sarah is here, or
Hi,
Sarah.
Elise. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, and a few other people. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome. And tonight I wanted to host Bee Bosnak. She is my mentor. I've been following her for quite a while. Actually, I think I first heard about her in Yoga Girls podcast, and I learned that she also had asthma as a child. And I said, oh, we have something in common because yoga was a huge thing that helped me heal and you almost not use a puffer ever. So that was huge. And then because she's Turkish, I said, oh, wow, that's so nice. There's a Turkish yoga teacher out there known in the world and doing great things. And also, I resonated with your style, B, a lot. So
Thank you. Thank you.
then I felt this need to take things a little further in terms of my teaching. Since the pandemic started, the COVID-19, I was in a search. I didn't know what to do, but I did have a demand of people coming in and asking for online yoga classes. So I saw your program, and I really, really don't think many people are offering this. So that was quite unique. And even though I live in Turkey and our currency, it's quite different, and it made me a little bit, it was difficult for me to get the money. I found a way because I really wanted to take your program, B. So I think maybe we could start talking about what made you start this program? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah. Um, well, I will first of all, I want to say I never forget that one time I think you had messaged me about the program, and I think it was like this the currency thing, and then I said to you, all in alignment. If it's supposed to happen, it will happen. So I truly believe in that alignment. I truly believe also that people, when they feel called to do something,
Yeah.
it's somehow you can find that thing that you're wanting to do. So I think also this, for those who are considering to evolve in their teaching, to be open to that sort of alignment of what's the next thing. So okay, let's go into why. Was there your
Yeah,
question? Why did I
where did it
start?
come
Yeah.
from? Yeah, where did the idea come from?
Yeah. The idea came from it came from me wanting to create my yoga career in a way that was just more than running around and teaching yoga in a studio.
Hmm.
I didn't know what else I could do with yoga. I thought there must be something different that I can do than just teach in a studio or do a workshop or do a retreat. What else can I do with this as a way to create this as my career? Because most people, when you say I'm a yoga teacher, people just think that all you do is you're at a studio and you teach and whatnot. But there is so much
Yeah.
more that a yoga teacher is. You know, we are really everything to our students. Like our students come to us for so much.
For
And
counseling, right? Spiritual counsel. They trust in us.
absolutely.
They tell us their secrets, right?
Yeah.
And also to
Yeah.
see it as a career. You said the word career, that really stood out to me. I know there's a lot of yoga teachers out there who have to have a side gig to continue teaching yoga or pay the rent, that type of thing. And
Hmm.
I think we really have to change that mindset of seeing it as a real career instead of a side gig or having a side gig and then saying, well, I teach yoga here and there. I mean, if you have that kind of passion,
Yeah.
that will come through. But you know what I mean? There's this attitude that needs to change too, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. The reason why I'll just go back to that first question. The
Yeah,
reason why I created Thrive was because I wish that there was a program like that. I did not see myself doing teacher trainings. I didn't want to do teacher trainings, and I know that that's really the main way a teacher or a studio stays afloat by doing teacher trainings and by, birthing new yoga teachers. However, we have created now this world where there's so many yoga teachers, and what's happened is that we no longer look at this sort of like as a career, but rather as a hobby, or because, we're going to get great Instagram photos, or, we like to, I'm going to keep it really real here,
so
which I
true, so
always
true.
do. But like, oh, this person's a yoga teacher and they go to this retreat and they go to this. It's like this popularity contest, which I talked about actually in my stories yesterday, this idea of popularity, right? But it's not about popularity. It's about how profitable are you. So
Hmm.
I definitely believe that you should have a side gig. Don't lose your full-time job just
Yeah, we're not
yet.
saying quit your day
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
But also really look at your, I think looking at why are you teaching yoga, first of all? First of all.
Hmm.
And I think what happens is that, it could be something that, it's a trend, right? And I think,
Hmm.
people get caught up with that, or, I want to do what Senem is doing, or I want to do what B is doing. But the work
It's
that goes
true.
into that, the work that goes
People
into
have no
that,
idea. People have no idea. I've had so many
yeah,
students say they want to quit their corporate jobs, stat, and become a yoga teacher because it looks like it's easy or I don't know. It is fun. It's very enjoyable. It's very fulfilling work, but people don't know the whole story, right?
yeah, it is. It's fulfilling work so much. Like
Very.
I cannot imagine doing anything else. But yoga, I think, it was just a start to the whole world, like another world that's really open when you start to dive into yoga. And I think we have a lot of, yoga practitioners here, students here, teachers here. Yoga is just, it's a gateway. It's a doorway to open you up to something that is so much more, you know, bigger than you thought really possible. So, when I started, I was in the fashion industry for many, many years. And when I
Right.
started to teach the yoga, I was back and forth. That was my, it was paying for, how I lived, but yoga was paying me for my soul. It was fulfilling me. And it wasn't
Hmm.
just asana practice, it was really this
Meditation.
meditation, spirituality, shadows, working with my shadows, that is what yoga means for me. And I think we've
Hmm.
lost the point of yoga because now yoga has become, what's the most expensive clothes I can buy? You know,
Shapes, how you look in a pose, and all these people in handstand and headstand in their Instagrams and in a little bikini looking, there's nothing wrong with looking good, by the way, but it's
no,
just about
nothing
how you
wrong.
look. And then there are these classes also in Turkey, in Istanbul too. There's a huge yoga scene, as you know, but it's all about
Yeah,
shape. There, I know places where you go and you're doing a class and the teacher turns on their camera. They actually they're filming a story for their Instagram, and when people get into the pose, people clap. It's like a
I know.
performance. Maybe I'm weird, but to me, that's not yoga, you know. But it's evolving.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that because the first time I experienced that, I was in shock.
Was it in
And
Istanbul or somewhere else?
yeah,
In
it
Istanbul.
was. Oh, yes.
Hmm.
And, you know, and I thought maybe, this is this cultural thing. So here's the thing, when I go back, go back home to Turkey, it's and
Yeah,
I only lived there for 5 years when I was until 5 years old. So
right.
I never went to school in Turkey. I never studied the language. It was just with my parents. So this is why when people say, why don't you speak your language? And the reason being is because I can't express myself in a way that I am in the English language because that's what I've
Right.
studied. However, I thought maybe this is a cultural thing. But when I saw that, people, when I'm teaching the class and when they get into a pose, someone comes out of their yoga mat and they get their phone and they're not only filming me, but they're filming each other. And then they do a selfie and then people start
Selfie.
clapping. I was just like, is this real? Where are the cameras? Is this a
And
joke?
we need consent as well. I mean, you got to ask if the teacher is doing it, they have to ask every student. And even if one person does not want that, you can't do it. But no one even asks here in Turkey.
Well,
So, yeah,
why?
yeah.
Why do you think that? Because I mean, living in Istanbul and teaching in Turkey yourself, why do you think
Having
that?
taught in, mm,
Yeah,
having taught in Canada as well. So I
that's right.
get to compare. It's very, very different. But why do I think that culture exists, that selfie weird thing?
Yeah,
I
why
don't
do you
know.
think our people love that? I think it's maybe what is it? A show. I think it's a lot of show.
Show off, show off. Like I'm doing yoga. I'm a person who does yoga. The image of what someone who does yoga looks like. That's what people tell each other, and they're like, "I do yoga." Oh, what kind of yoga do you do? And they don't even know. Like, if you say hatha, what do you teach? If I say hatha, they don't know really what that means. There's not that much deep knowledge, it seems. I'm not saying for everybody. There's tons of people with lots of knowledge, but the practitioners. And yes, there's very much a phone culture. Like in
Yeah.
Canada, people will meet up with you and they turn their phone over or they put it into silent if they're having dinner with you. And if the
Hmm.
phone rings, they say, "Oh, sorry, 1 second, I really have to take this call. It's the babysitter," or something like that. Here,
Yeah.
it's up, facing up. It rings, you're in the middle of a conversation. Hello, you speak. And then you just hang up and you continue. And the other person is like, "Well, okay, then I'll just grab my phone and check my messages." And
Yeah.
this is normal here. But
Yeah.
yeah, that I just think
I
that's so weird.
no, I get that, but also I think as yoga practitioners, we have a responsibility. If
Hmm.
we say that we are practicing yoga, we have a responsibility of awareness and mindfulness, which needs to be a
Right.
part of our life. So if we are sitting down and having dinner with whoever it is, that phone should not be there unless, of course, but to everyone does their own thing, but first it's really about looking into that awareness and that mindfulness. If we're talking
Exactly.
about that specific moment, why is it that you need to, why are you texting while you're conversing with someone? Because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. If I'm sitting with you at dinner and you are picking up a call and you're not even saying, B, I'm so sorry, I need to grab this. This is my babysitter, or if it's just a random text
Emergency.
message, exactly. You're not listening to me. You're not
You're
listening to
not
me.
present. You're not
You're not
present.
present.
And you're not
No.
present in your yoga class either. And your phone shouldn't even be there. Maybe you can take a picture before class, on your mat and you're saying, I'm in yoga, I love yoga, something like that. But during yoga, and then the teacher to do this, and then everybody to clap, I don't know. That just feels very different.
Yeah, and I think, I will never tell anyone you need to do this or you should not do this. I will never
Right.
say that. I think every person should do what they want to do. But if you want to take the photos, take the photo. If you want to be a teacher who, claps for your student, do that. But what I also believe is that you get to create the teacher that you want to be. And because we have many examples of this, so let's
A
look at
wide
that,
range, a huge,
right.
yeah,
And if we're looking at it from a culture of, let's say, Istanbul, right? You're seeing all of this. This is what you think yoga teachers do. So you are going to follow your teachers because your
that's the
teacher
thing.
says this. You hold your teacher at this pedestal, and your teacher is a queen or a king, and
Rock
you're just
star,
bowing. You're bowing. Yes, everything you say is correct. And so
mindlessly.
what I believe in is the neutral. Everything has to be equal. So I
And the teacher
always
normally
say,
has to take their ego out, right? Sorry, I interrupted you, but
yeah. Well, I
you
mean, that
always
is, I
say,
think, and I get really passionate about this,
me
right?
too,
So,
me too.
so I always say, like level the playing field. Even when I feel someone's trying to do that to me, put me on a pedestal, I always try to bring myself down as quick as I can because I can feel that. And I think there's a lot of danger in that. And we've seen
Totally.
that. We've seen that. We've seen
Yeah.
that in senior teachers and what they do to their students and this, ego-based thing that happens. So,
Exactly. A lot of that happens, it seems, with male teachers and female disciples, but that's a whole other topic. And everybody knows about these yoga scandals or the Bikram documentary that's on Netflix. But I also want to tell people that yoga is not this crazy thing that is scandalous all the time. There's normal people wanting to practice yoga, but I just think it comes back to we all need good mentors. And again, this ties
mhm.
into your program. So, what you see, as you said, your first teacher, you kind of learn from that teacher how to be a teacher. I have
Mhm.
that too with my first teacher in Canada. I had good teachers. I'm lucky, but a lot of people who take classes here, then they take a class with me perhaps, or maybe I'm their first teacher, but they took yoga years ago and they had a different impression. They see it can be different. It can be more humble, more normal, as yoga should be. The ego, not so much there. So a healthy student teacher relationship.
Yeah.
But we need good mentors. And I think that you said this somewhere that the world does not need more yoga teachers. They need
It's just
better
it's
mentoring.
just
A general statement. Yeah.
my personal view, because I also believe there's amazing teachers out there who
Yeah.
are, teaching the teachers who want to be teachers. So, let them do that. But
Yeah.
I want to teach the teachers who already have been doing this or are beginning to do this in a
Yeah.
different way, in a way that helps them in their business. And that's where Thrive comes in because I keep seeing this thing that, yoga teachers are not looked at as business people. And I think
Yeah.
also my background in business, I always say I am a business person first. I have always been a businesswoman first before yoga because I found yoga, 10 years ago. So
Hmm.
um, I love the practice. I honor the practice. I really go deep into the practice. But at the same time, because this is my livelihood, at the same time, I'm looking for ways to help expand the teaching as well as the reach, as well as how to create yoga create rather thrive in a way that encompasses the
The business aspect.
exactly, yeah.
Right. I mean, um, there seems to be this stigma that it's like money and yoga don't go together, or business and yoga don't go together, or it's yucky, something is dirty about, marketing
Hmm.
yourself in yoga, but it doesn't have to be that way. This is what I
Right.
learned in your program as well. You said mindful marketing, you had that term. And
Yes.
it's true. I mean, it doesn't have to be. Why should it be? And
Correct.
the truth is, in a lot of the YTTs, the teacher trainings, we're just taught the yoga poses, some philosophy, some anatomy, and then we're just thrown out into the world. No business, and it's
Hmm.
just they tell you to get an accountant and then pay your taxes, but no details on what to do. And of course, now with social media in the picture, we really need to know how to get savvy and use
Yeah.
these social media tools better. And in your program, the good thing about it is that you don't need to have a mail list, right? You can use
Right.
your Instagram and just get and you
So
reach a lot of people.
I think what happens is that, after you finish yoga teacher training, this is what I've seen, is like you said,
Hmm.
you are thrown into that. And when you're thrown into that, you're like, well, what do I do? Okay, I have an Instagram, I teach, um, but what else? How can I make money? Or how can I, first of all, let's go to the idea of money. Money
Yes.
is energy. That's all it is. And as yoga teachers, we are teaching an incredible method. So for someone to not pay you for your expertise, they are dissing you. And so let me tell you, when I first got into the industry, um, I worked for free. There was many things that I did, worked for
Haven't
free.
we all? Haven't we all?
All the stuff that I did that seemed, oh my God, Bee's doing all of these things, didn't get paid, didn't even ask for it because I thought, well, I'm a new yoga teacher and like, I'll just do this for
Getting my
free.
face out there. Yeah.
Right. Getting my face out there, exposure out there. But because I didn't know how else, I didn't know, honestly. I was just like doing the thing because I thought, well, I'm supposed to do this.
And no one
So,
around you was doing it any differently. That's the thing, right? Your role models, whoever they were,
or
or no
they
one told
weren't
you what to
really,
do.
I think they also weren't really sharing how to get up there. So no one was really sharing their, business mindset
Secrets.
and
Hmm.
correct, right. So you know what I did? So we're jumping so many places
I know.
and
I
I
want to talk
love
about so
this.
many things.
Me
Yeah.
too, me too. I love this. And so coming back to money is just energy and it's just frequency and it's this exchange. And I think when it comes down to asking for what you are worth, that's really your relationship with money because we discussed this in the program is that money is a story, first of all, right? It's a made up,
Goes
many
back to our
things.
childhood.
Yeah,
Parents,
exactly. Right.
culture.
Save your money, right? Save your money for a rainy day. Or and we do that especially as women, is that we hoard or we put everything into our savings
Yeah.
and we're like just
Have
in
savings in
case.
case your husband is not a good person and you'd have to have your money under your pillow. And if you have an education, it's we call it altınbilezik, it's your golden
Oh,
bracelet,
yeah,
and you got to
yeah,
keep it. And it's very, very true. Yeah, you're always warned
yeah.
against this idea of you could be on your own, and as a woman, you shouldn't, you should have a, escape plan or something.
And I think also that comes down to, especially if we're talking about the Turkish culture,
Hmm.
because and maybe it's different now, but some places still have this, is that the woman is tied to the man,
Hmm. Well,
right?
we
The
take this
woman
the last name, so yeah, legally.
and the woman, the woman's, and again, looking at it from what I've seen, my mom was, a stay-at-home mom. She took care of her children, me and my
Mine
brother,
too. Hmm.
cleaned the house, cooked. That was her role, and she knew the role that she played. Whereas my dad would, brought all the income in. So that's how I saw a relationship that, women stay home, they nurture the kids, which is a huge job in itself.
It's a
That's a
thankless
huge,
job, yeah.
yes,
And you don't get
absolutely.
paid, and it's the foundation of everything. Now that I'm a
And
mom, I get to see
yeah,
that for sure. But
yeah,
I know that when we grow up and we have mothers like that, and many of us had mothers like that, our generation, we
yeah,
kind of want to break out of it, right? We want to do something different.
we do. And
Hmm.
I honored that in my mom, and I was like, lady of leisure. But I really wanted to, I mean, I went to school for a reason because, my mother wanted me to be a little bit more different, go to school, get your education.
Hmm.
Both of my parents are college graduates. They didn't go to university, high school, I should say. So my dad was an entrepreneur, and I think that sort of that gene was really ingrained in me. And I wanted to
Hmm.
prove, especially when I got into the yoga industry, a lot of people laughed at me
In your
a lot.
family.
First, yeah, and my
Yeah,
family, my friend
around
circle,
you.
like, really, you're going to do that? I mean, you have a great career. What are you doing? But it's something that is inside of you that you have to follow the calling.
It's a fire that
And
burns, and it's a calling, yes.
absolutely, it's a calling. And at that time, I was in such a low place in my life that there was no other low in my life that I could really get to. So I thought, you know what, let's do it now because I just hit rock bottom, and that
It
rock
can't get worse
bottom
than this. Hmm.
was my awakening. That was my awakening, and many, many things shifted for me. So I created the Thrive 5 years ago. I was working one on one with people.
Yeah, I was actually watching. I couldn't afford it back then, and I was seeing that you were doing the one-on-one ones. I don't think you had the big program, and I thought, oh, I need this. I need this right now. I really need this. But it was, I guess, Kismet was for now. But you started with the, I think, one-to-one sessions first,
Correct.
didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was doing that for a good chunk of time. And then I started to realize that and so for me, I'm always taking coaching programs myself, mentoring programs myself within the business side. So I like to merge both of that. So I like to look at people that are doing things that I want to do, but I don't know how to do yet. And I like to follow their steps because people who don't know what I want, how, they don't know where I want to go. So I can't
Right.
really follow their direction. And so many yoga teachers, I have great teachers that I really I love and I really, trust them. But I'm not a teacher that would say, this is my teacher. I'm not a teacher like that. I have about
Mm-hmm.
15 to 20 teachers that I like to, be inspired
Different
by.
aspects. Yeah.
Correct, exactly. But if you said, who's your teacher? My teacher is life. That's my teacher. Life
Good
is
one.
always teaching me.
I love
Um,
that.
Yeah, so after I did the one-on-one, I was like, actually, I can hold more space. And the group setting, as you know, is even more powerful
Yes.
because the only thing I'm doing is, yes, I'm holding the space, but I'm learning how to listen to the group. And I'm creating the program because even though it's the same material, it's always different with every group.
Every group dynamic is different, isn't it?
Every group dynamic is so, so different.
And I
And
bet sorry,
no, go ahead.
I bet the feedback you got from people as you kept doing the one-on-ones and the programs is that, oh my God, we need this so much. We need mentoring so much,
So much. Yes,
right?
yes, exactly. Especially mentoring as in how to create a business.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not teaching you how to, it's not a yoga mentoring, even though there's definitely, spirituality aspects of it. Everything is energy. Money is
Right.
energy. Self-worth is energy. Telling your story, all of this is energy. So I wanted to teach the yoga teachers how to create abundance, how to make big money while they do what
Mindset.
they do best. They do the big transformational work to their clients and their students, and I help them how to create that abundance. But you need to be an excellent yoga teacher. You can't just be like, you need to be
This
the
is the thing.
best.
Yes. And you have to trust because if you have any little doubt in your heart that, oh, I'm not good enough and I don't know this subject, it's going to show, right? You have to know.
You have to
We
know.
all
Yeah.
know. I think we all know what we are
We all
deep
know.
down.
We all have that gift. We all have that gift. And I
But you're
think
right.
that
You have to be a very good yoga teacher to start with. And there's a lot of really good yoga teachers out there who just don't get the recognition they probably deserve and want and wish for because they lack those basic skills of marketing, perhaps, or mindset, which are workable things. And they were workable for me too. So I know that it works.
absolutely. It's all
Hmm.
workshopable. I always say it's all workable because
Workshopable.
yeah, workshop, right? You can workshop it because you have this desire in you. And I think, for we come into the teachings of yoga because we want to be in service. We want to help people. We want
Exactly.
to remind people that yoga can truly help them change their lives. And I know this always sounds really cliche, but it does change your life if you
It does.
go full in. And for many people, if you ask them, they will say, yes, yoga changed my life. Absolutely. So when we forget the reason why we came to yoga in the first place, we can sometimes get off of that alignment. So,
This happens to a lot of yoga teachers, I think, especially if you've been a yoga teacher for a long time. You get into either burnout mode or you get in a
Hmm.
rut, you lose inspiration, and maybe because there's that feeling of competition, you can't always air out your concerns with everybody. But I found that in our group, we're able to do that. That was another beautiful thing about the program.
Yeah,
Like, no, everyone has each other's backs, even though we're all, in a way,
absolutely.
competing, you know?
But also, we are in collaboration, I believe. Like I don't even like to use that word competing
Well, I was
because you're
just gonna
not.
get to
You
that.
can't. No one can compete
It
with
has to
you.
be win-win. It has to be, yeah. It can be good for both sides. Things can be positive for both sides. It doesn't have to be a win-lose. And women
Right.
supporting each other, we, raise each other up, then everybody wins.
Exactly, exactly. So if that is coming up, and of course in the program, many, many things, and we were what, a group of 20, 21, 20, 20, 21 of us in the group
Yeah.
in the last mentoring, and you could see that every woman plays a part in the program. So the program is not just me teaching you,
It's a
okay,
living thing. It's a
this
living
is what
thing.
you need to do, this is what you need to do, but it's every single women, and we have many of the women here too. Sarah's here, Elisa's here, Elena's here.
Hind
They
is here. I
Hind
saw
is
Hind as
here.
well. Hmm.
That they all play a big part of the program. So we eliminate that competition. If you are in competition, um, there's something to check there because that is ego. So in my career, I will say is that I don't have any competition. Women empowering women is where that collaboration comes from. Truly, truly, truly. And I only, in this program, I only work with women. However, in the last program, the program before
There
you
was one
guys,
man,
there
I
was one
remember.
there was one man, and that also was a quite interesting energy there as well. Created that little masculine or big masculine energy. But I really work with, especially in this Thrive, women because women needs that energy of how to create sustainable income, how to thrive in their business, and how to do things that maybe they didn't think was possible.
So true. So
Because it
true.
is possible. It is possible. And I was that person. I was wondering, how can I make money doing this? There must be a different way. I
There's
can't just run around
20,
and
20 classes a week. No,
it's
it's
just
not
not
sustainable.
possible. And
You're running
trust
from
me,
an empty container.
I did that for so long too.
We
And,
all did. I think a lot of yoga teachers who love yoga so much and they want people to, know them and yoga to be known. They have a passion for yoga. They all go through this burnout stage and then they wonder, is this all there is? You
yeah,
know? 20 classes a week running around. Sometimes you pay, even in Toronto, I remember I would spend so much time and sometimes money on the way to class and on the way back. And people don't consider this. There's so many little things that go into teaching one good class. And then if you're doing
yeah,
that a few times a day, um,
right.
yeah, burnout is
Yeah.
inevitable. And there's got to be a better, more practical way
Well,
to do it.
you know the way now.
I do. I do.
And
Yes.
so, and it's just those little, and again, so in the program, there's many people who take off. There's many
Hmm.
people who just start to create, in
It's
that
true.
program. Sometimes
We're
for
all
some people it
different.
happens exactly. We're all different. So we also have to be okay in that because it's a process and it's not, a competition. So, but
No,
looking at the foundation, creating that foundation of, wow, I can really do this without even having, the website, because people will say, well, you need a website to be a teacher
no,
or whatever. And
everybody thinks that they need a website. It has to be a good website, not like a crappy one, but like a, beautiful, sleek looking one. That means expensive. People think they need a mailing list. That's what I thought too. And that's exactly what stops people from taking the steps to do what needs to be done. And that was
correct.
exactly me as well. And now that I know that's not the case through the program, I'm doing everything on Instagram, a little bit on Facebook. And the most important thing, though, that I learned from you was to take action. You got to take action. That was the big game changer for me. And you don't need a huge platform. You don't need many, many, many modalities or mediums of social media, but you need to take action, small steps.
Absolutely. It is. It's really, really that sense of action. So
Hmm.
here's what usually happens. So let's say, and not even just new yoga teachers, but for many yoga teachers, these are the things that holds them back. So first of
Hmm.
all, they may not know their audience, right? They think, oh, I want to teach every single person who wants to practice. Like, I will teach everyone, but you can't. It's not possible. You have to simplify. So this is also what the course is really about, is to simplify, because we're
Finding your
all over the
niche.
place. Of
Yes, we
course,
are.
right.
And then you're asked, it's supposed to be a good thing to be a teacher who teaches vinyasa, ashtanga, power yoga, restorative, yin, have all those certificates and be this, multidimensional yoga person. That's supposed to be a good thing. But just like getting a PhD, you have to sort of specialize into something. Not that you can't do those other things, but you're so right. We can't possibly reach every single person
Yeah,
who wants every
yeah.
single style out there.
Yeah. So that is really, it comes from your story. And that, you guys have heard me say that a lot, right? Your story, coming back to your story, because what you also connect with. So once you, figure that out, and that could take, quite a while, because most people, may not even think that. And I think there's this chase of this certificate, I'm going to do this certificate, then this training, and then this training, and then this training, but you are not
Forever.
right. So that is looking at that. Why is that? What are you trying to prove?
Your worth. I think people are trying to prove their worth. That if they have a bunch of certificates, that makes them a good teacher.
Right, right.
That's what I
So
think.
it's really interesting to really look at that. And the waiting game. The waiting game, this is how it usually goes.
Uh-huh.
I will be ready when
When? When? Exactly.
when I get 1,000 followers, when I do that next training, when I get my website,
Hmm. And
when
that
I.
day never comes, does it? You just keep waiting.
Right.
And if you're a perfectionist, like a lot of us out there, and I'll admit I'm a perfectionist too, if you're a perfectionist, then you could wait forever. It's never going to be perfect. Like my first video, my first Instagram TV video, was me, I gotta admit, in pajama bottoms and just a black sweatshirt, no makeup. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. Like enough analyzing, enough perfectionism. Just go in and do what you're good at. And my speech was fine. It, people loved it. So
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta just get
Exactly.
stop the perfectionism too. Maybe work on that.
Well,
And the program helps
perfectionism
us.
is an
Hmm.
illusion. That's what stops you.
Doesn't
So
exist.
I think a lot of people also may have trouble with sometimes, starting something new because it's not perfect. But in order
Hmm.
to perfect something, there is no prerequisite for perfection.
And you have to
Perfection,
make mistakes.
right, and perfection is within its words, the more you do something over and over and over, it's like self-mastery. How can you master yourself if you've never done something before? So, of course, there's always, a starting point. And that starting point, by the way, it's really beautiful to hear the ezan.
Yeah, does everybody hear that? I'm sure they do because we're in Istanbul.
This is
It's
the
the
call
ezan.
to prayer, which
We
is
live
really
near a
beautiful.
mosque, and yes, we can hear everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's really just
the
building
perfectionism.
up on that. Yeah.
Got
And
to start somewhere. For sure. That's one big thing I got out of this course was that you have to start somewhere, and the only way your own energy shifts is when you take action, those baby steps.
yeah,
And once your energy shifts, then you start to believe in yourself. And it doesn't matter if people even say good things and write a billion comments and like it this many times. If you
yeah.
know it's quality work and you're doing your best and you're putting it out there, that sometimes is enough to build
Yes.
confidence.
I also think that these things that we're talking about, energy and change, it comes from habits. And there's a reason why I made you guys read that book,
Atomic Habits.
because everything is a habit.
Hmm.
And so when you look at the habits that you have that are not helping you escalate, and you're trying to change that, you are changing the patterns of your habits to create better habits to help you evolve, whether that's in your relationship, your career,
Health,
your
health.
health, all of it, comes
Hmm.
into play. So it's like, don't tell me what you're doing, but rather tell me what your habits are. When you
Yeah.
tell me what your habits are, I can probably tell you what kind of person you are.
What kind of person you are. What about night owls? I always look up to people who go to bed really early. They're like, I'm in bed by 10 or 11 p.m. and I wake up at 6 a.m. and I
No,
do my meditation. But with my
that's
babies
okay.
now, I'm having to be a night owl. That's the only time I can work because all
Many,
day I'm with them.
many amazing artists and creators are also night
Night
owls, and
owls.
they find that energy. So there is no perfect time. Whatever time is
Yeah.
good for you, I always say, you can't, again, compare. So if the night works for you better, then stay
Well,
up
right
and
now, that's kind of, yeah, what works for me best. But when you said habits, there's habits in the Western way that we understand it, that word, but also it can be seen as mental patterns, like mental habits, the
mm,
vrittis, that
mm,
we look at
yeah,
in yoga. I don't know, can we look at it from that lens too?
absolutely. I mean, yes, the internal dialogue that we're having with ourselves, right? The
About
constant
money,
chatter.
the
And
money
you
vrittis.
start to believe in your own, in your own thoughts. But where does the thought come from? So it's sometimes it's good to follow the thought. Like, where is this thought coming from? And the work of Byron Katie, she has, which her work is called The Work,
The
and
work,
The
yes.
Work, and so she is all about identifying what is true. So I
Hmm.
really like the way
Her
she
first
approaches
question
it. Is
is it true? Yeah,
so if I say, I can't afford this program, for example, is it true? Well,
not really.
not really. I choose to say that
There
because I
might be
just,
some difficulties, like there might be a currency problem, but if you really want it, something works out. Not really. That, yeah,
correct. And
for
everything,
sure.
not just the program, everything in your life. Everything in
Everything
your
that we
life.
want to attract into our life. And we
To
can
ask
learn
that
through
question.
meditation. We
Yeah.
can probably learn through psychotherapy if we're willing to go there, and it's very beneficial. I know that you do that too, the shadow work. So it's really, really important to look at those things and see them where they come from, so we can understand them and then overcome,
Yeah.
hopefully.
And also it's really that taking that quantum leap. If we're also looking at this from a quantum physics point of view, once you
Hmm.
start to take that quantum leap, which I talk about a lot, taking the leap, right? Are you a leaper, or are you kind of just by the sidelines and just watching everyone? Like, how are they doing it?
And then going like, huh, why not me? Or when is it going to be my turn? Yeah.
And it's what you said before, it's taking that action. And the first action is to be within those people, or be within that community, or whatever it is that you choose, whatever it is in
Hmm.
your life, is that once you open a doorway, which is the doorway of that frequency, you start to see that
Yeah,
shift, and everything shifts,
it's
whether
so
it's
true.
money, attraction, right? All of this. And you start to become that magnet.
How you carry yourself and the law of attraction as well, right? I mean, people were making fun of The Secret and whatever in the early 2000s, or when I was doing my YTT, it came out back then. But definitely, we vibrate at a frequency and we attract like frequencies. Just like we say in Turkish, tencere kapak, or like attracts like. So definitely, that's true, whether you call it law of attraction or secret or if we change our own frequency, our own vibration through these practices. You're so
That's,
right about that.
yeah. And yeah, and because, money mindset and these kind of programs, I don't really see any yoga teachers do it. I see coaches, right? People who are just coaches, but, I don't call myself a coach. I'm more of just, I just, you know, mentor in things that have worked for me. I will never teach you something that hasn't worked for me.
That
So,
that you haven't done
um,
yourself.
right. So
Hmm.
I never saw that, and I don't think I really do even now. So I think also that's why people feel attracted to this program is because it is different,
It
and
is different.
they do want to know, well, how do I do it? So I
Hmm.
think the quicker they learn, the better it is for their business. Yeah.
So true.
So and it's a lot of energy to hold, for a month. So actually, this might be my, let's see, my last time doing it live, because I'm planning to take this course on an evergreen course where people can just do the course in their own time. But as you know, I spend time with the group every week. It's
Yes.
live. I'm
Facebook
mentoring
Lives.
you, Facebook Lives, Q&A lives, like all of
And B, I
this.
gotta tell you, I
Um,
felt like such a nerd asking so many questions, but I think I was one of the people who asked the most questions in the group.
I
And
love questions.
there was one day where it was only me. I'm like, oh my God, is it only me? It was around the time though that everything exploded in the States and people were overtaken. But
Yeah.
I almost felt ashamed to ask so many questions,
No.
but you
No.
were always so graceful about them. And even though they were amateur baby questions at times, you were so, not nice about it. And I really felt supported. Like I
Mm,
genuinely still do, felt supported. And our group was pretty awesome too. The other day, maybe you noticed, but I kind of felt my own energy a little bit like there's tons of retrogrades right now. So I'm feeling it for
yeah.
sure.
We
Energy
had like
dropping.
six, was it six planets in that other day? It
Oh,
was crazy.
yeah. And then the eclipse and stuff. And I reached out to our group. I said, guys, what are you doing? And talk to me. I want to know what's going on because I need that energy. As you said, you get to meet these like-minded people in the program and you get to stay in touch. And it's a very different mindset from maybe in around me. The people around me are all like, well, how are you going to do that? Oh, has anyone else done that? And
Yeah.
it's always that
Correct.
blockage question, the negative mindset, the one that, like you said, the lizard brain trying to protect
Hmm.
itself, or people who love me ask me that because they want to protect me from heartbreak, perhaps. But
Hmm.
I said a lot of things there, but I think you know what I mean.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yes, of course. And
that community.
again, back to that frequency. So someone will always try to put you down. Like,
Hmm.
how I first started, people were just sort of laughing at me. And usually the people who
And
laugh at
me,
you
for
are
sure.
the
Oh,
people closest towards you. And how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? But you have to follow your gut. You
and
have
you
to
may not even
follow
have the
that
answers,
calling.
but you want to jump in. You may not have the answers when they ask how you're going to do that, but you have the right to jump in and try it. And they need to give you that space, hopefully.
Yeah, right. But yes, our group was really, really special. And I'm all about questions. Like, I don't know where these answers come from, but I know it so well that because I've lived it, that any question, is
And
totally
you
okay.
said you
So
said you've heard it all. Yeah, and I'm sure
yeah,
you
yeah,
have.
yeah,
And it's very true. And that's why I felt so comfortable being vulnerable in front of you that way. And everybody else, I assume, and everybody from our group is saying our group is great, and they're putting up
yes.
these emojis,
I
and
know.
yeah,
And also I think that's also really powerful is that when someone, starts a conversation, that word, me too. Like I actually feel this way too, or I was really scared to ask this question, but I also feel this way. So you're also
a lot
opening
of
up.
times that happened to me in the group. When I was asking a question I was really embarrassed about, a lot of people would cheer me on and say, no, no, we're going through the same thing, and
Yeah, yeah. And
so
also, the way I work the program is that I also don't, even though I have the answers for myself, I don't have the answer for you. Only
no,
you do. So
we have to do the
I
work.
have to turn the question to you. And I don't know if you realize that, but a lot of my answers was answering in another question,
Yeah,
which is the only way to be able to feel it and do the work and implement it, because no one can tell you how to do it or what to do it. Is that you
no,
need to feel it. Your body needs to feel it. And if you're feeling, that ickiness or that, oh my goodness, I can't do this, you need to move out of that frequency, and only you can do that. So it's just a shift in that mindset. So all I am
Hmm.
doing is I'm just being a mirror.
A mirror. But you're a good mentor. A good mentor
Thank
knows how
you.
to be a mirror. I mean, you're humble. You don't claim to
Thank you.
have all the answers. So that's not what we see out there very often. I mean, people with their followers and I don't know, claiming to have all the answers, even in the business world, claiming to have all the answers. But you were really honest with us up front that, we are going to have to do the work ourselves. That's
Yeah.
huge. And I knew that, can I commit to this? Can I do this? It's not like you're feeding us with a silver spoon, but you are a mentor, a good mentor who is holding that mirror, as you said.
Right. And what you're able to achieve in those 4 weeks of the program, not just also in the business, because remember we talked about this, you are your business.
Yeah.
And so
The Instagram account.
if you don't have a spiritual practice, it's going to be very hard to allow your business to expand because you're going to be looking at other people or this is what I should be doing, that's what I should be doing, too much information,
Comparing.
especially if you're listening to many people. If you have like 10 mentors, like that's a lot of information. Like it won't work that day. You need to work that way. You need to stick with one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. I think what happens to people is people get bored very quickly. And so they're like,
They
oh, let me
consume.
try
It's the
this.
consumer society, the consumer world we live in. We consume and dispose, consume and dispose.
Or it's too hard for me. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do this.
Mm,
Yeah, no, there's too many reps, even in the yoga practice. Oh my God, Bee's doing this rep like 20 times. I'm bored. How many more times am I going to do this? Right?
mm.
So, or this breathing exercise. We've been here for 20 minutes. Are you kidding me? Like, come on, let's be done already. People get bored. People are always looking for that next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing. And in this program, there's just no way. You have to look at yourself. You have
Hmm.
to sit with the ickiness that's coming up around your business, especially
So you're
around money mindset.
that's everything. And then you need to be willing to be vulnerable in front of everybody, the whole group and the teacher, and basically yourself, because we are our own worst enemies. I think you said this during the program that, you know, not enemy, but you said something like that, that
We
we our
are the
own
only people
in our way,
in our
in our
way,
own way.
in our own way.
I
Yeah,
mean, how true is that, right?
yeah.
So true.
So it's like
Self-sabotage.
we have to get out of our own way.
Hmm. I don't know how much time you have, but do you have a little more time to take
Yeah,
questions, or you can tell
yes,
me,
absolutely.
how, I know there are a lot of people from our program here. I know there are some Turkish people here. My relative wrote here, ah, o mükemmeliyetçilik. Mistakes are good and necessary. It was half English, half Turkish. It was Nur. Are there any questions about the program, if anyone has any? Because I want to say that I took it and it shifted my way of looking at, yes, me as a business, the yoga as a business, and I'm giving myself time. I'm giving myself time. I'm working, creating content, mindful marketing, learned a lot. I have this group with me. I have B, but
And
yeah,
we all support each other. Um,
if anyone has any questions, they could also DM me about that. But yeah, I'm very happy to share my experience. Anything? I'm looking.
Elena says our group is great.
It
Elise says
is.
we are not alone. Hi, Molly. Molly's here. Um,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's very good that you decided to create this program because honestly, I don't think there's anything like it out there.
Thank you. I'm just reading
Mm-hmm.
Elise's question. B, if you had one piece of advice for
Uh-huh.
spiritualpreneurs, what would
Preneurs,
it
what
be?
would it be?
Who? One advice. Elise, that's tough.
But I'm glad we have a question.
Um, I would say keep investing. Keep investing in yourself. Um, because when you truly invest, that's when you pay attention. And we've talked about this in the program before, because if you don't invest, this is what happens. You're going to look at so many, things. When you invest in a certain thing, you have paid, from your pocket. You have, committed this time and this
Energy.
whatever energy, exactly, time and energy to learn, to soak up. And then once you're done, you implement it, you work with it, and then you're going to find yourself in a place, okay, I need more. So what else can I do? So your investment, and this is not just, in your career, but also in your life. Where are you investing your time and your energy for something to improve? Because where you pay attention, right? So all the places that you're giving attention, that's who you become. So it's
Hmm.
really important to notice where you are investing your time and your energy, and to invest in those areas, places and spaces and teachers and communities that will elevate you. So that, I think that would be my number one thing.
Yeah.
Especially as women, we don't know how to invest.
It's true. Because men were always seen as investing people. When you think about like Wall Street and the stock market, and it's like all men there, men energy, male energy. But now it's time to bring in the Shakti, right? That's how I
Correct.
feel.
Yeah. And yeah, and we
Hmm.
can, coexist. It's not like it's just women, it has to be all women, and forget
No,
the
no,
men.
no.
It's this connection, this beautiful
If
harmony,
anything, we
which
need the
is what,
balance. We need the balance.
yeah, exactly. So that's great
Males,
question, Elise.
yeah. And someone else is asking if you'll lead this course on August or September.
I don't know. Like I said, I think, and the reason why like it's been crazy since the pandemic. People have been really, first they're shocked,
Unpredictable, right?
unpredictable,
Everything's
because
so unpredictable.
the program really picked up after the pandemic. I mean, so many people just flood
People need to
because
go online. They
they
need to know
were
what to do.
wondering, how do I do this online business? And if you're not going online, you cannot scale your business.
This
You
is what I learned.
you can't make six figures, you can't make seven figures if you're not online. So this program is for people who are online or who are thinking about going online. If you say, nah, I don't want to do online, but I want to do this program, it's just no, it's not for you.
There's no point. I love how
There's
you're so
no,
honest,
yeah.
B. I love how you're so honest about that,
Because
just as it is.
I don't want to disappoint anyone, and it's like I can't work with people who are not willing to try something new. So from the get-go, I like to tell people, how it is, and honesty always works. But this may be the last time, like I said, that I'm doing live, because it takes so much energy. Also,
It
that
does, yeah.
it may just be a course where you can just buy the course, anytime, and you just do it in your own time.
But either way, people will get a lot out of it for
Of
sure.
course, absolutely. Either way, you'll definitely get a lot out of it. But I
And
don't know, so I can't answer that question.
something about what you said about, sorry, I had it in my mind, but yeah, when you pay attention, that part. Can I share something that I learned the other day about that?
Hmm.
There's this Turkish influencer that I follow, and she has like a lot of followers, and we live really close to each other. And her field was nutrition. She beat diabetes, but now she's sort of shifted her gear towards MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction. I guess you
Okay.
know that.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
let's just say mindfulness, but it's a whole system. I wrote her an email, like a cold email, and I said, "Hi, I really love your work. What do you do? What are your secrets?" I wanted to ask her again how she succeeded, because I feel like, there's a little difference with the Turkish culture and the North American culture. There's some nuances there, like what we talked about at the beginning. And she also shared with me how when people pay, they pay attention. That was one of her tips, one of her pieces of advice to give, and that she has tried to give away her program for free for people who say they can't afford it, and none of them did the work. The people who did not pay, none of them completed the work, finished the course, or did what had to be done. How interesting, right?
Hmm.
Oh, we have 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot there's a
Really?
time limit. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Instagram is telling
Well,
me
we
that
we
there's
can
tw
we can come back.
you want to come back?
Yeah, let's finish it up.
Okay.
So
Then
ev
yeah, I don't want
everyone
to yeah.
everyone can come back. Yeah.
Okay, great. So the fact that yeah, let's wait it. Let's wait it through. 5 seconds.
That's right. I forget 1 hour. Wow, we've been talking.